Hey guys, so I'll get straight to the point. If you want to completely eliminate screen tearing, just follow these steps over the next 30 seconds to a minute and it will completely get rid of it. Stick around for longer if you want more information or to understand a bit more of what's going on. So if you just want it to work, follow these steps. Go to your home screen, right click, show more options in the video control panel. Once it loads up, guys, go to Setup G-Sync, make sure Enable G-Sync is on and Enable full screen mode is ticked, okay? I then want you to go to Display and enable G-Sync Indicator. This will just show you whether or not your G-Sync is active. When you're playing a game, it will show in the top right corner as a little green logo that just says G-Sync, okay? Go to Manage 3D Settings. Scroll down a little bit for me and go to low latency mode, toggle this to on. Do not use ultra, go to on and leave it there. I then want you to go to your max frame rate and I want you to put this anywhere from 3 to 4 FPS lower than your refresh rate. If you're using a game with frame gen, stick around a bit longer because we'll have to go back over this, okay? I then want you to come further down and go to your V-Sync. I then want you to put this to on. Do not use fast, just on. Thank you guys, and that will completely eliminate any sense of screen tearing. Thank you very much. If you've decided to stick around with me, well, thank you very much. I want you to come back up to here, and the reason we're still here is because you may see I have a 168 FPS cap. This is because I have a 175 Hertz refresh rate, and if I bring out a calculator here, you may know that 175, if you divide this by, let's say, 3, it's a 58.3 FPS. Doesn't really exist, maybe in frame times, but not in overall FPS. Your monitor cannot display a point of a frame. Do you understand what I'm saying? And this will cause screen tearing. So what you need to do is, for example, for me, I have a 175 Hertz refresh rate. This is divisible by 12, and so I know that fits into 2, 3, and 4x frame gen technologies. So I limited my frame rate to 168. So if I'm using, for example, 3x frame gen mode, if I divide this by 3, we can see that will be 56 FPS times by 3 will be 168 FPS. 168 will work for every single number. So if we do 4, 42 FPS, and then 168 divided by 2, 84 FPS. So as you can see, this covers me. So whatever frame mode I use, I have an FPS that resembles them numbers, okay? So if you're at a, let's say, 240, you'd have to look for a number that's divisible by 12 under 240. So then you can set your frame rate limit to that. And then whenever you run a G-Sync game, you will know you'll be covered for that. For example, I can't be asked changing mine every time. So I just have this monitor set to 168 as a frame rate cap. So every single game I play, I know I'll get absolutely no screen tearing no matter what settings I use. And no matter whether I want to use frame gen or no frame gen. If I want to use reflex, I can turn it on and I don't have to worry about changing any of my settings. So this is just set up perfectly. So when you play games, you can stop thinking about any type of screen tearing. You can just play your game and enjoy it and mess around with the settings inside the game. Now, when it comes to V-Sync, here, you're going to leave this on at all times. Do not turn this off. And if you have a setting in game that is a form of V-Sync, or if it's asking if you want to use V-Sync, never ever use it. You're depending on your built-in video control panel to do this, because a misconception is G-Sync and V-Sync are separate technologies. This is not true. They depend on each other and they coexist. G-Sync is around because it does what V-Sync couldn't by building on that with the buffers and the frame times. The reason you're getting screen tearing is because most of the time you're going above that refresh rate where G-Sync can no longer work because G-Sync only works at your cap and under your cap, and then V-Sync is turning on because V-Sync works over your cap. And this is usually where you get in screen tearing. Sometimes you may notice you get screen tearing within your frame range, and this is because it is displaying frames at different intervals to what is coming out of your GPU, to your frame time, to your monitor. And so having V-Sync enabled under this refresh rate will not induce any latency to be added to your monitor, but it will give you the smoothness and stop any of that tearing within your FPS limit. So this covers you guys that have a, say, 240 Hertz monitor, but you're playing a single player game at 80 FPS and you're seeing tearing. Do this, you don't have to worry about any FPS that you sit within. These settings will also cover you there, so it'll be completely seamless, screen tear free experience.